Hello and welcome everybody, what is going on? So as you read by the title, this video is about ranking the worst and the best arcs of One Piece. And this is honestly something that I've been considering doing for a long time. Especially now with Whole Cake Island seemingly, now this, I'm using that word cautiously, Whole Cake Island seemingly finishing. Just so you know, Whole Cake Island will not be included in this arc since it's not finished yet. But I thought, you know what, let me rank some of the One Piece arcs. Let me just rank them, my personal opinion, obviously. I think I have to get that out of the way, it's my personal opinion, everything's said here. But these are from the worst to the best arcs, and this is probably going to be a very long video, considering that there is so much to talk about. I've got 20 arcs on my list, and I've not included arcs such, like I said, these are not the complete list. There are, I think, 4 arcs. These are all, by the way, these are not filler arcs. These are all, the main story arcs. But the arcs that I've been missing are Accent Morgan, Captain Boogie. Then you've got Usopp's with Captain Kuro, and Alvida. Those are the 4 arcs that I'm missing. In terms of ranking them, for me, they're all pretty poor in all honesty. But I feel like if I had to rank them, are you really gonna rank Alvida? That's not an episode, So maybe you rank it as a Kobe arc, and if it's a Kobe arc, then that is probably the highest out of those. Well, now in this case, it would be Accent. Well, no, it would be Usopp and Kobe. And for me, the Usopp arc was the worst. Kobe arc would be better just because I like the whole scene with Boogie. Yeah, I know, really. I like the whole scene with Boogie, and especially that one little dog and the mayor. So, yeah, if you want, that's number 22 and number 21. Now let's get started with number 20. And number 20 is actually 3 arcs. So all of these arcs were for me on a similar plane. All of these arcs were for me equally good. And this is Fishman Island arc, Barati, and Long Ring Wrong Island. Yes, let's start with Fishman Island. Because Fishman Island, for me, personally, I feel like it is an arc that I used to rate much, much higher. I used to have Fishman Island, one of the highest arcs, actually. I used to have it like in the top 12, now looking at my list, top 12. But Fishman Island has actually dropped more and more for me recently. Now let's talk about the positives of Fishman Island. Well, first of all, it was the first real adventure since the Straw Hat reunited. All the Straw Hats are back, and you're just looking for another journey. You're just looking for adventure. You just want to see all the quirks of the Straw Hats back. You have Zoro getting lost. You have Sanji to the extreme now, getting nosebleeds. Which at the first was like very enjoyable. Then later on, it got really, really annoying, really fast. Especially in the anime, maybe it's because in the anime, scenes like these take a lot more of your screen time, take a lot more of the episode's screen time, and a lot of the episode's minutes. So you're like, come on, man, we don't really want to see this again. But in the manga, it wasn't as bad at the beginning, and then at the end, it was like, okay, I can do without this, honestly. But you see a new journey. You see the story. 2 excellent flashbacks. You have the Fisher Tiger flashback, and then you have the Otohime flashback. Personally, I like the Otohime flashback more because the whole scene with Otohime, and when she's obviously dying, and then you have Shirahoshi just crying, and the brothers are trying to console her, and the brothers are trying to dance like Akabambo, hey. Trying to not make her cry and whatnot. For me, that was a very, very touching moment. That was one of the best moments of Fishman Island. The thing is, I can't even say of One Piece because there's so many One Piece moments that you just really can't say that. But it was definitely one of the best moments of Fishman Island. So yeah, there was a lot of good moments, but the biggest letdowns were honestly Holy Jones and Van der Decken. And like I said, I used to like this arc a lot more. But now it's gotten worse and worse for me the more the story actually progresses. And for me, the reason is very, very simple. I used to look at this arc as they're just starting a journey, and they're just trying to show this is what the Straw Hats are capable of, and this is what they can do. This is what they've been able to. This is what their 2-year training has been for. And then later on, you see Dressrosa, and it's like, everything that Straw Hats can do, everything that you thought they've gotten up to, everything that you thought, that's just now the limit, or these are some new things that they can do, all thrown out the window. Fishman Island had one new move, and that was Red Hawk from Luffy. One new move where you were like, wow, that's very impressive. Brook, he had a good move. Yes, but I'm talking about just like the main fighting trio, right? And that's with just obviously Luffy, Zoro, Sanji. Sanji Skywalk, nice. Hell's Memories, nice. But, I mean, Skywalk, yes. Hell's Memories, we've not seen that since. But Luffy, you're like there, you're all thinking like he's going all out and whatnot. Using Red Hawk and whatnot, and using Aranataki on Gear 3rd. And then you used to get to Dressrosa and he's got Gear 4th, and then you're like, this whole arc could have been resolved within 5 seconds. This was just dragged out. And that's what it feels like. So that's why Fishman Island for me is number 20. But alongside it, on number 20 is a Barati arc. Now, quick disclaimer: I'm a huge Zoro fanboy. Probably my favorite character. Definitely my favorite. Can you call him secondary character besides Luffy? Luffy and Zoro, they're always competing for number 1 spot. Let me just put this out there. But most likely Zoro. Like, he's probably my favorite character. For me, Barati is like the first great One Piece arc. That's really what it is. It's the first arc where I can honestly be like, because funny enough, I used to be a fan of One Piece before I watched it. And that's because, it used to be on TV here and there, so I didn't really watch, like, the episodes or whatnot, but I used to, like, just see, like, a few minutes here and there, like, 5-6 minutes or so. That was, like, back when I was, like, very young, like, 7, 8. And straight away, I like Zoro. I like badass characters. That's Sumi. So I like Zoro, which meant that I liked the show. That's how it was for me back then. I didn't really watch One Piece, but, like, the few glimpses I got of Zoro made me like the show. So when I actually started watching, I was like, okay, I thought this was better. And then I got to Barati and I was like, you know what? Yeah. This show has potential. And the reason why I thought the show has potential was because of one man. Dracul Mihawk. Dracul Mihawk, like, he just shows up, he's like, you know what? You guys thought, you guys just went strolling through life, thinking that you were all the great, you're all great in this, you're all great in that, you're so good here and you're so good there. And I just come up, you, Zoro, who's been basically pretty much, having fun so far. I come up, tiny little dagger. That's not a dagger, I know, but he comes up with a tiny little thing, a sword that's around his neck, and he's like, you know what? There's no point. There's no point for this. Stops it. Sends Zoro down, massive scar on his chest, and he's like, you know what? Live life. Live life first, and come back. Then come back. Once you've experienced life, once you've experienced everything there is, once you've actually developed as a person and strength-wise, then come back to me, and then we'll have a fight. To me, that was like the first real. It showed you how strong or how weak really the Straws were, and how big of a journey this was going to be. So that's why for me. Again, I'm a huge fan of swords. That's why I like Zoro so much. Mihawk, Master Swordsman, I like him a lot as well. So that's just the way it is. But yeah, for me, Mihawk, like I said, he got introduced, and you were just like, okay, this is the limits of what this is what they have to get to and have to surpass. It's gonna be a long road. I'm in it for a long haul. But besides that, there's obviously the flashback as well. The flashback with Zeph and Sanji, and it's like the first real flashback of One Piece. And it is executed nicely. It's executed very, very nicely. Obviously, looking back at it now, it's one of the weaker flashbacks. But back then, when you first started, it was like, you know what? Wow, this wow. I feel for you. I feel for you, Sanji. I feel for you, Zeph. So yeah, it's like the first. Actually, for me, it's like the first taste, just tiny little taste of what One Piece is all about. Next up, you have the Long Ring, Long Island, also number 20. And to me, I thought it was very good at the beginning. Obviously, the anime, they made a filler, and then it kind of got dragged out and whatnot. But I thought like the beginning was very, very entertaining. But really what takes this arc there as well is the meeting of Aokiji. Again, you're kind of seeing like, you like at the beginning with Mihawk, you're like, okay, you know what? Beginning of the show. There's still so much to go. They're not going to do anything. It's just the beginning of the show. You're just trying to show you the limits of the show. And like 200 episodes later, Long Ring Island, and you meet Aokiji and like, oh yeah, they've gotten so much stronger. They can definitely meddle with some of these characters that are at the top of the world. And it's like, no, you're not there. The guy is single-handedly like that's what I mean. Like that was like another moment where you just felt like, okay, you know what? We might be like 200-300 episodes in, but this is nothing. This is nothing. This is just the beginning It is just the beginning, and that's what made this so special for me. Is seeing again like this is just the beginning. But anyway, it's just the beginning of our list. This was number 20, number 19, and for me, I think in the community as well, probably the first arc that most people really enjoyed. The one arc that most people that made them really like One Piece, which is Arlong Park. It's usually the one arc that people will always quote as being that this arc really got me into One Piece. And there are a few episodes, obviously, episode 31, I believe, as well, which is the walk to Arlong Park, as well as obviously the whole Luffy, the whole Nami attack, and then Luffy stopping her. Like I said, it is the first good arc of One Piece, I would say. There are a lot of things that are right with it, and a lot of things have to do with Arlong. Arlong is really the first villain that you really want Luffy to defeat. Before that, Alvida, you're like, who cares, really? One episode, she's gone. She was kind of like a fodder. Then you get to Bug and like, no, fodder. Then you get to Captain Accent Morgan, you're like, you know what? No, fodder. Then you, obviously not in that order, but then you get to Captain Core and you're like, this guy's actually pretty good. But he's not really that great of a villain. Like, he's pretty good in terms of that he can actually handle his own, unlike the other villains, but nah, not really. Then you get to Don Creek, and Don Creek, he was close, because obviously he came in there, begged for food, and then once he got given the food, he was like, screw you guys, I'm killing all of you. Bam, bam. And just like, come on, really? Come on, really? Are you really going to do that? But to me, he wasn't really... He had all that weapon and all that gear, but it wasn't really like, this guy's not really much of a threat. But anyway, then you get to Fishman Island. Sorry, not Fishman Island. Then you get to Arlong Park. And, like, you see the backstory of Nami. You see, that Arlong, not only did he come into the island, take it over, then shoot Nami's mother right in front of her. Zack. He then tells Nami, you know what? You go ahead and collect money. Collect 100 million berry. And once you've collected that, bring it back to me, and I will let you buy your village from you. Nami spends, like, I think 10 years of her life, at least 10 years or so, just, going around from area to area, trying to collect all that money. When she's close to having all of it, this guy tells the Marines, you know what? The money's there. Go get it. Go get it before she gets all the money. Takes all the money. And Nami, obviously, she's just absolutely, she is just out of it. Like, the whole thing that she spent for the whole time that she's, tried saving up the money, everything, all gone in an instant. She breaks down, sees the Arlong's mark, Arlong's tattoo on her arm, gets a knife, just stab. Luffy comes behind her, grabs her hand, he's like, you know what? Say the words, say the words, and we're gonna do it. And we're gonna do it, believe in us. Say the words. And she breaks down, starts crying. Luffy! Tasceta! And obviously then the walk to Arlong Park happens. They mess up the Arlong Park, and that is Arlong Park arc. Now the reason why it's quite low for me is because, again, Arlong was the first villain really that I really wanted Luffy to defeat. He was, everyone else before that was like, you know what, they're pretty much fodder, but Arlong was like, I want him to get beat. And Zoro's fight against Hachi, good fight. Usopp's fight against Kiss, good fight. Sanji's against Kurobo, good fight. Luffy's against Arlong, first half of the fight, awful. Straight off awful. Like I said, maybe it's because I wanted Arlong to get hurt, and I still want Arlong to get hurt. But, like, he starts off, like, messing around and whatnot, Arlong, it starts off as, a comedy gag, Luffy grabs Arlong's teeth and whatnot, he's like, you know what, let me just mess around with Arlong's teeth, tack. And it's like, Luffy, I don't mind you being silly when it's not, when it's not a, when the mood, is up for it. But in a moment like these, I want in a serious moment like this, I want you to actually be serious as well, and that's honestly, at least the first half of it. that is when I actually kind of felt let down by Arlong. But later on, you know, as the fight develops, he actually gets more and more serious, and yeah, he just wrecks Arlong. He just wrecks Arlong as well as the Arlong Park. But that's number 19. Number 18 for me is Punk Hazard. Punk Hazard suffers, I think, a similar fate to Arlong Park. Not actually, no, it doesn't. It suffers a similar fate to Fishman Island. There was a lot of good information. Now, I don't know if you guys have been in the community for a very long time. I have been. You know, I've been on YouTube, watching YouTube more so than actually making videos. I think I actually made Punk Hazard live reactions back in the day for the manga. But back then, after the time skip, we were all wondering, especially during Fishman Island, we were all wondering, do Zoro and Sanji have haki? In Punk Hazard, Luffy just straight out, you know, says it. They've got haki. Then obviously you get introduced to Brownbeard, who obviously we saw previously. You get introduced to Law again, and Law, he's obviously a total badass, you know. You get introduced to Kinemon. Law then wants to do an alliance with Luffy. You get Smoker, Tashigi, you know, you see them skill, you see a fight between Law and Smoker. Later on, obviously, you see a fight between Virgo against Smoker and Law. Then you see the battles between Zoro and Tashigi versus Monet. And then obviously you see Luffy versus Caesar. So it had a lot of good moments. Now the issue moving on from there, you see Frankie versus Buffalo and Baby Five. Then Doflamingo obviously appears much later on. He just wrecks Smoker, and then Aokiji comes in at the end. The arc ends. So there's a lot of good moments. But that's the issue. It was a lot of good moments, but it wasn't a good arc in my opinion. Now for me, the hallmark of an arc is either the villain or the story. Now, Punk Hazard wasn't really a story-driven arc. You know, there was a lot of. It was more so an arc of clashes. That's really what it was. It was an arc of clashes. You know, you had clashes here and there. You know, 2-3 chapter clashes, and that's gone. And then you move on to something totally different. And then you have again 2-3 chapter clashes, and then you move on to something totally different. So there was no. The area didn't really feel that special. I know it was obviously a battle between Aokiji and Akainu. But like usually when you go into a One Piece arc, you always get introduced like these fascinating characters. That wasn't really the case in Punk Hazard. I think the only 2 characters. For me, there was only 1 character, but I think the community likes Monet a lot. For me, there was nothing really there. But Virgo, he was quite interesting. Obviously because of his background as a pirate as well as a marine. So for me, he was quite an interesting character. But the battle with Caesar Clown was kind of a letdown. The battle against Virgo, for me, that was obviously the highlight of the arc. Honestly, like Law's speech as well as just like cutting the mountain. Again, I'm a huge Zoro fan, so I don't really need to say that the battle between not even a battle, the clash, quote unquote clash between Zoro and Monet was very, very good. And for me, Punk Hazard, it's not a bad arc, but it's definitely one of like the arcs that I've rewatched the fewest. Probably alongside it probably actually is the arc that I've rewatched the fewest, the least amount of times. I mean, all the other arcs, especially like the top 13 or so, I've watched like at least 20 times, you know, and that's a lot, especially for a show like One Piece. But like Punk Hazard, I've only watched like watched or reread like 4 times maybe, which is that's not a lot for me at all. Punk Hazard, like I said, number 18 for me, and next up we get LOTGH. Now, LOTGH is the first shift for me at number 17. It's the first shift for me, which means that from here on out, every arc, I truly think they're absolutely amazing. Like I don't really see them having any faults. But yeah, I really like LOTGH. It was just a different arc, you know. There was no actual villain. You had Smoker, yes, but he wasn't really someone that they could overcome. But to me, just the arc was more about just mysterious. There was so much mystery to it. There was so much intrigue to it. Obviously, the whole thing with Gold Roger, you know, the city that he was born in, the city that he died in. There was just so much to the arc. Zoro with his swords, obviously buying a sword, you know, the cursed sword, Kitetsu, throwing it up into the air like, missed. I'll take it. And it was just such a badass moment. There's so many good moments as well. I mean, the anime, It wasn't really, was it filler? I don't know. Oda originally intended to write the whole thing with Daddy and Usopp. I really enjoyed that in the anime. There was a lot of good moments in that arc, and then obviously you top it off with Dragon. You just top it off with Dragon. Obviously at that time you don't know, but there was just, like I said, there was just so much good things. Now obviously I can see some people complain that there wasn't a villain. To me it was a fresh of breath air. It was a breath of fresh air, not a fresh of breath air. It was a breath of fresh air, because previously we always had a villain. We always had like, you know, an end goal arc. We didn't have that in this one. It was just like that was honestly like the first real just like adventure kind of arc. You know, just like, oh yeah, we're just gonna go here, we're just gonna go there, and we're just gonna sightsee. You know, that's all we're gonna do. We're just gonna go from this place to that place to this place to that place. Have a look here, have a look there, do this, do that, and at the end we're gonna try and get out. Obviously, it didn't work all according to plan. You obviously got Buggy and Alvida. But I really, really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed the arc. Obviously, manga chapter 100. That's why the arc was a little bit rushed. You know, that's why we didn't really get to see the Daddy versus Usopp square off in the manga. Because Oda wanted chapter 100 to be The Legend Begins, which was essentially the chapter where Luffy fights against Smoker. Then Dragon comes in, saves them, and then obviously at the end they all do their vows on the ship with, I'm gonna become the pirate. Well, if we do it in order, I'm gonna become the strongest swordsman, I'm gonna become the pirate king, I'm gonna find the all blue, I'm gonna draw the map of the world, and then you obviously have Usopp saying, and I'm gonna become a brave swordsman of the seas. Sorry, not a brave swordsman, a brave warrior of the seas. And that was LOTGH. Like I said, number 18 for me. And like I said, for an arc that For an arc that I don't really think has anything negative to it, it being at number 17 just shows you how many arcs there are at One Piece. Now, saying that it doesn't have any negatives to it, doesn't mean that it is perfect. You know, it's overall a good arc. I don't think there's anything bad to it, but it's just a good arc. It's not a great arc, just a good arc, just a good arc. That's why it's number 17 for me. Number 16 is something that I think a lot of people have lower. And that's Little Garden. It's usually not really talked much. Like, I think a lot of people will have LOTGH over Little Garden, but for me, Little Garden was just very, very fun. You know, again, a battle between giants. I like giants. I like giants, and I like the whole competitive aspect between Zoro and Sanji. Like, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get that. You know, let's see which is bigger. And then it was just like a very first journey, the very first adventure with Vivi. With Karoo. Usopp actually felt like, you know, he was up to something. He wasn't actually just a scaredy cat. He was actually up to something. Luffy and a whole collar trap. Mr. Free, his wax powers were just outstanding. Then you obviously have Sanji, Mr. Prince. For me, there were so many great moments. Overall, I think it's a good arc as well. I don't really think there's anything negative about it. And the highlight really for me was, as surprising as that sounds, I think a lot of people have other things as the highlight. But as surprising as that sounds, for me, the real highlight of that arc was Usopp. Like, when Luffy was in a pinch, it was him that really saved it. You know, it was really him that really, you know, helped him out in that point. And I'm not... He's not, you know, he's not one of my most hated characters, definitely not. But out of the straw, it's like he's pretty much in the middle. Like, he's not, you know, near the top, but he's not near the bottom either. It's just pretty much in the middle, give or take. So just seeing him do the things that he does in that arc, you know, because before that I was like, yeah, he was kind of, he's not really that great. He's just there, you know. He's just there. Obviously, he had a moment to shine in Island Park. Besides that, I was like, you know what? There's not really much to it. There's not really much to him. But then, like, Little Garden comes around and he essentially saves the day. As stupid as it sounds, it may just be like a very small scene, but he essentially saves the day, and you know, he really, really helps them out. So yeah, that's Little Garden at number 16. At number 15, you have Drum Island. I think a lot of people have this arc higher. Drum Island. I'm gonna say this right now. Water is my favorite element. Snow, I'm not a fan of. Snow and ice, I am not a fan of. Water is my favorite element. Again, it's a snow island, so that's probably like the negative to it. It actually has a negative, but the thing is, the arc is great overall, but it has one negative, which is why it is at number 15. The negative for me is, I don't really think I have to say, but it's Wobble. It's Wobble. Again, it's a snow island. To me, that, you know, I'm not gonna drop an arc down because it's a snow island, but I just thought I should mention that, you know, my favorite element is water, and I don't really like snow. So I just thought I should mention that. But Wobble, for me, he was just terrible. Yeah, there are not many One Piece villains that I can actually say are terrible, but Wobble was truly terrible. But let's talk about the positives. The flashback. Here, look. That's all I can really do. Like that's the one, and that's the first great flashback. The Sandy flashback was good. The Nami flashback was good, borderline great. Hello flashback, great flashback. I swear that it gets me every time. Like, it doesn't matter how many times I rewatch it, it gets me teary every single time. Like, it is one of those things that, you know, when does a man die? When he has an incurable disease? No. When he has eaten a poisonous mushroom? No. When he is shot with a bullet that pierces his heart? No. A man dies when he is forgotten. Yeah, I swear, I love that. I love it. I straight up love it. I straight up love that flashback. Like I said, arc overall as a whole, great. Has a lot of great moments. The whole moment of Luffy, you know, climbing up the mountain, awesome. You know, for me, one of the best moments, honestly, are like the pre-time skip. I know there's a lot of great moments in pre-time skip. It was honestly one of such a great moment, because you can, I don't know what about you guys, but I could honestly feel like freezing while I was watching it. I could honestly feel like, okay, this is insane. You know, he's still climbing after all that. This is insane, Luffy. You've just got, you know, so much respect for me. So yeah, Drum Island, number 15 for me, and number 14 we go to Sky Island. We go from Drum Island from the Drum Rockies that are very tall to Sky Island, which is very high up in the atmosphere. Yeah, Sky Island. There's a lot of good things about Sky Island. A lot of good things. Now, the only negative, it doesn't really have a negative, actually, now that I think about it. It doesn't really have a negative to me. Now, I know Sky Island, a lot of people dislike it, because it just felt kind of like, but I liked Enel a lot. I liked Thunder. I like Enel, or Eneru. I like the whole Shanyan versus, obviously, the Blue Dwellers versus, obviously, the Sky Islanders. And there was so much good things to it, like the whole, you know, survival of the fittest, this whole survival game. I really liked it. Obviously, Zoro got pretty much to the end, so I was happy with that. Then you obviously have the Nolan versus Caligara it's not really a versus. The Nolan and Caligara flashback, which was very good, and it was just so many good moments. Perhaps the one letdown, yeah, I wouldn't really call it. I don't even call it a letdown, but like perhaps the one negative of it, or the one thing that could have been improved upon, was ultimately the Luffy versus Enel fight. Really could have, you know. But now I'm nitpicking just because I feel it's one of those things that had to happen, because, you know, he is rubber, Enel is a lightning, and you know, it was always going to be a one-sided pretty much. But I just felt like Enel could have done more. He had mantra. He could have done more, and especially the final blow, he could have just dodged it. Didn't. So yeah, that's my issue with I wouldn't even call it an issue with Sky Island, but that's just the one thing that perhaps Sky Island lacked or not executed brilliantly. But next up is Jaya. Yeah, I love Jaya. Jaya is one of the best episodes in One Piece, period. There are a lot of great episodes in One Piece. I think episode 521 is a great episode. Episode 521 is a great episode, and then you have episode 151, which is Jaya. To me, these are like probably the two best episodes. 521 and 512, I think it is, where you see like where Luffy essentially remembers his friends and whatnot, after Ace. And there is this one scene like before that, you see Shanks, you see the whole moment with Shanks, and you have also the Dadan moment. I think that's episode 512, and it's like all of that might be episode 511 actually. You have all of those moments in that same episode, and then you obviously like 521, which is the whole Luffy. Give it a second. One shots the pacifista. Rayleigh comes in. Rayleigh's like, go off and set sail. And the Marines try and chase him. Rayleigh gets in the way, and Luffy at the end, he's just like, Rayleigh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna become the king of the pirates. One of the best episodes in One Piece, executed brilliantly. Obviously with the whole Ichini Sanchanyon, we go in the background as well. Well, just an amazing episode. But back to Jaya, episode 151. Outstanding episode. The episode, well, the arc. Let me just talk about the arc as a whole first. The arc starts off, them arriving on a random island that is infested with not infested, but that has a lot of pirates, right? They go in, they're like, you know what? We're gonna promise that we're not gonna fight. They get into the bar, try and get some information from Sky Island. And everyone in the bar laughs at them. You see Bellamy, you see Sarkis, you see the two people that are going to become important in this arc. And you see the one other guy in the bar, and you don't know his name. He is basically the opposite of Luffy. Luffy loves the pie. Luffy hates the pie. The guy loves the pie. Luffy loves the drink. The guy hates the drink. Now the guy starts leaving the bar. He's like, yeah, you know what? I'm going. I'm heading out. Bellamy comes in. Bellamy, sits down. Luffy, Nami, Zoro, they ask about Side Island. Bellamy and his crew, they laugh. They straight up laugh at Luffy. Grab Luffy, hit Luffy, attack Zoro, and they don't fight back. And you're thinking, why they're not fighting back? And then you see, oh yeah, this is Shanks all over again. This is Shanks. There's some battles that cannot be won with fists against people like him. When again, Oda always Oda always says that he doesn't like killing characters because he feels that if Luffy beats a character, he's essentially beating their dream, and that's more important than actually killing them. That's more influential than actually killing them. In this case, Bellamy, he didn't have a dream. He just wanted gold, so there was no point fighting him. There was no point in getting into a fight where there's no reason for you to fight, and the whole reason for the fight is just childish beyond childish. So yeah, they leave the bar. They see the guy again. The guy that previously that was the opposite of Luffy. They see him, and he delivers one of the most iconic speeches in One Piece: "Dreams never die." Boom! The era of dreams is ending. Foolish. Dreams never die. Am I right, pirate kid? And yeah. Then they head off to Nolan's descendant, who has been searching for gold all this time. They go off, try and find a Southbird. While that is happening, Bellamy hears about the gold that Nolan's descendant has been looking for. Goes there, messes up Majira, messes up the other Abe, and then messes up Nolan's descendant and Mont Blanc Cricket. And yeah, Luffy is pissed. He runs all the way back from that little place to Jaya. Calls out Bellamy. Bellamy comes out. Bellamy does a spring hopper, hops everywhere, left, right, center, left, right, center, left, right, center. Luffy, he's like, oh, you know how to throw a punch. Your bounty's 100 million. You must be fake pirates. You must, you just put a high bounty up just to intimidate other pirates. Do you even know how to throw a punch? Luffy's like, do I know how to throw a punch? Knocks him out straight. One punch, like, just knocks him out straight up. The guy's done for. And in that same episode 151, I know that episode, 151, where Luffy, the first of the episode, is Luffy knocking out Bellamy. In that same episode, we switch over to Marijoa. We get introduced to Doflamingo, Don Quixote Doflamingo, or how Manga Panda used to call him in the Manga Panda translation for that specific chapter, Tanjihato Luflamingo. Then you also get introduced to Bartholomew Kuma again, how the Manga Panda translation used to call him, Bisoromia Bartolomeo. You also get introduced to Great Advisor Tsuru. You get introduced to Sengoku, the man at the top of the Marines. You get introduced to him, and then you see this one guy, and you're like, before that, sorry, you see Mihawk again. Mihawk just strolls in. He's like, you know what? I was summoned. I'm here. You're looking for a replacement for a Shichibukai. The pirates that you're going to talk about, I've got an interest in him. Go ahead and talk. And then out of nowhere, you see Lafitte. Lafitte is like, yeah, well. I came here to recommend a certain man. He goes by the name of Marshall D. Teach, also known as Blackbeard. And Sengoku's like, you know what? Blackbeard. What's his bounty? Lafitte goes, his bounty is 0. Doflamingo obviously being intrigued, he's like, you know what? Let's give this guy a chance. Listen, don't be like that, Sengoku. Give this guy a chance. And then from that moment on, from Lafitte saying Blackbeard and let's give this guy a chance, we switch over back to Jaya. We see Saki, who's obviously sad because Bellamy has been defeated. He goes around, he's like, bumps into somebody. He's like, yo, who are you to bump into me? Because we've been taking it easy on this island. Then you just see someone's hand, and you just see Saki's go all the way, get smashed all the way to the ground. He is done for. Then the camera slowly pans out. You see Van Aga, you see Doc Q, you see Jesus Burgess, and then you see the main man, which is Marshall D. Teach, also known as Blackbeard. And from that moment on, you switch over to Whitebeard. From that moment on, you switch over to Whitebeard. And Whitebeard has gotten a message. A message that was delivered by Rockstar. In that episode, you also see Marco in the background. Doesn't really look like Marco, instead of having the yellow hair, he has like brown hair. I mean, that's an anime mistake. But you see Marco is in the background, so you do see him as well. And Rockstar talks to him. He's like, "Yo, who are you? Do you know what my bounty is? My bounty is 94 million or something along those lines." And the guy's like, "Never heard of you. Who? What's 94 million? Come on now. What's 94 million? Well, that's peanuts. That's peanuts." And you get the camera pans out. You see Whitebeard, the strongest man in the world, Edward Newgate, the great pirate. Edward Newgate, the one that Ace previously mentioned, the one that Ace is the 2nd Division commander of. And you see this man, you see him like with all the medical equipment. You're like, is this guy really the strongest man in the world? What's going on? Is this guy the man that used to be equal with Roger? What? And Rockstar, like, the boss told me, Redhead Shanks told me to deal this letter, so when you guys are gonna have your meeting. Whitebeard rips up the letter. He's like, boy, go back to your boss. Go back to your boss and tell him to come here personally. To come here himself. Tell him to bring some good sake. And that's the only time I'll actually speak to him. Because this is disrespectful. I am the great pirate, Edward Newgate, aka Whitebeard, aka the strongest man in the world, aka I rule the new world. That's me. So go and tell Shanks, tell that brat to come right here. Bring good sake, and then we can have a chat. Rockstar, he's like, I need to take revenge right now. I need to, this is disrespectful. And Shanks like, you know what, bro? Don't do that. Yeah. Value your life more than your pride. We're off to meet Whitebeard. Brilliant episode. Best episode. One of the best episodes in One Piece. Jaya was just a fantastic arc. It was only number 13. It was only number 13. One of the best early arcs, really. But it's only number 13. Number 12. Thriller Bag. I love Thriller Bag. I mentioned this before. I'm a Zoro fan. They're probably the best Zoro moment in all of One Piece. Zoro taking Luffy's pain. Pretty much sacrificing himself for the crew. I mean, he barely survived, but pretty much sacrificing himself for the crew. And, I mean, like I said, as a Zoro fan, that moment itself it makes me love the arc even more. But there was a lot of good things. I know a lot of people have issues with, obviously, Moria. But to me, honestly, it showed, it showed to me that the story has progressed. Because previously, it didn't matter who the Shichibukai was. It was Crocodile or whatnot. They struggle against the enemies. But at this point, it was like, you know what? We've gotten so much better after Lucci. We've gotten so much better. And, we can actually take out Shichibukai without too much of a struggle. Also, I like Ryuma a lot. The whole thing against Oz, I thought was very, very good, because I always wanted to see like the Straws team up against one single enemy, and I got that in that arc. Kuma, again, Zoro fan, love that shit. Brock's story, tearjerker. Yeah, it gets me like every time. Like, it gets me every time. It's not the saddest of One Piece. For me, that's definitely Robin. But it gets me every single time. Like, every time, the Bing Saki, it's not so much the flashback itself, but every time Bing Saki starts playing, and like, there's this one specific moment that it gets me every time. So it's not so much the song itself, but it's just like the scenes that are played when Bing Saki happened, and that is when he starts singing, his whole crew. When he starts singing, it's just him on his own, and it's like Binkose no Saki, and then like, it switched back to like Luffy and the rest just singing. I don't know why, but it always gets me, just like from utter despair to now utter happiness. It's just such a great way this song and overall the art was handled. I know a lot of people don't like it because it was too comedic. It wasn't epic, like it wasn't epic like Enies Lobby or Water 7, but I really, really enjoyed it. What can I say? I really, really liked it. Next up, though, you have Whiskey Peaks. Again, Zara fanboy. Zara, against all of them. Oh, funny enough, right? I also love the fact that Zoro fought against Luffy. To me, that was just awesome. I think there's been no Straws. So actually, no, there's been a few Straws that have not fought against Luffy. If you think about all the Straws, right? Frankie fought against Luffy. Zoro fought against Luffy, and I think of all the fights, Zoro was the only one that was pretty equal at that point. So I'm just saying. Sanji fought against Luffy. Usopp fought against Luffy. Frankie fought against Luffy. Robin, she isn't really much of a fighter, but if you want to call it fight, no, she never fought against Luffy. Now that I think about it, okay. Nami always beats up Luffy. Chopper, no. I mean, Luffy and Sanji were trying to eat Chopper, and Chopper beat him down, so maybe that counts. I don't know. But like most Straws have actually a fight against Luffy, and the only one that's really come out on top was, or not really on top, but the only one that was kind of equal was Zoro. But anyway, back to the arc. It basically is the introduction, the prelude for what comes next as like the Alabasta Saga, and like I said, it has an awesome Zoro moment in there, and I just love the arc. I think from like beginning to end, it was a very, very short arc, but I thought it was very well executed, in my opinion. And it left a lasting impression, which is obviously the key thing here. But anyway, that was number 11, and number 10 is Alabasta. Basically, the arc that had like the first real fight. I think like the first real fight in One Piece. You may say Alabasta. You may say Arlong Park, but for me, Alabasta always had like the first real fight. Like every one of the Straw Hats got to fight. Luffy got to fight. He lost twice. Once he was buried. Second time he was drained. Quite literally drained. And only the third time he could actually win. He was poisoned, and he would have died if it wasn't for Robin. But like, there's so much mystery about it. Obviously Pluton. Then you got the poneglyphs. You got Nico Robin got introduced. One of my favorite Straw Hats. Nico Robin got introduced. Then, like I said, you have the whole history, the whole lore, everything about Alabasta. There's so much information. Between like Vivi and just Vivi and like the whole water situation. You've got there is so much. Like if you think about Alabasta, it is such a long arc. But there's so much good things that happen. There's so many good moments that happen. I mean, if just talking about good moments, let me just list a few ones. Vivi hitting Luffy, and Luffy obviously telling her, just you should rely on us. Don't just sacrifice your own life. You should rely on us and sacrifice our lives as well, because we're your friends. Then you obviously have Zoro as Mr. One. Then you have Sanji as Buncray. Then obviously Buncray, obviously at the end sacrificing himself as well. Luffy versus Crocodile. Then you have like the Alabaster Guards. I feel like the Alabaster Guards. I don't know what they're called. Like the 4 strongest guards. I think they were. For me, that was one of the most hilarious moments actually in One Piece. The four like toughest guards of like Alabasta taking that miracle water, you know, just to get stronger and whatnot. And then Doc Crocodile's just at the top, like just waiting, like, you guys are stupid. You guys are just flat out stupid. So it has a lot of great moments, and it honestly made, especially. How can I forget the best moment of Alabasta? Really, I mean, I don't have X written on my thing, but obviously the sign for Nakama, the Vivi leaving scene, essentially. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was honestly beautiful. Alabasta. That's all I have to say. It was beautiful. Beautiful. That's what I'm giving it. Not good, not great, just beautiful. That's what it was. Number 9 though. Number 9 is ASL. Ace Sabo Luffy. When I say Ace Sabo Luffy, I'm going to say Ace Sabo Luffy arc. I'm not just talking about the flashback. I'm also talking about the post-war arc. I include that with ASL. So basically, like the Straw Hats, you know, begging or starting their training or whatnot, all the way until episode 516. That's basically what I include. You know, Luffy learning about Haki as well. And you know, just the whole thing. That's what I include as ASL. Like I said, episode 511 as well. That for me counts as ASL as well. Episode 511 or 510, where we see, obviously, like I said, Dadan hitting Gab. We see Shanks on the funeral, you know, Whitebeard's and Ace's funeral. We then see Luffy remember his friends. Just all around awesome episode. And obviously the ASL flashback. Sabo, my boy. Yeah. We all thought he was dead. All of us thought, okay, maybe he's alive, just because that one page, the next chapter after he quote unquote died. And we all thought, you know what, it's One Piece. Characters usually don't die. But considering that we never saw him in real-time story, we just thought, you know what, he might actually be dead. He might actually be dead until Dressrosa. Until Dressrosa! And I really like... I like Sabo a lot more than Ace. I'm going to say this right now. I like Sabo a lot more than Ace. Ace, for me, he had so many flaws with his characters. Sabo, to me, he was essentially the ideal character between the 3 brothers. You know, he was hilarious, funny, but he was also serious. Ace was a bit too serious, and Luffy was a bit too jokey. Sabo was just like middle ground, which is also in terms of power. Obviously, when Ace and Sabo had their fights as children, Ace had 26 wins. Sabo had 24 wins against... Well, Ace had 26 wins against Sabo. Sabo had 24 wins against Ace. And they both had 50 wins against Luffy each. But yeah, I really liked ASL as well as the post-war flashback. I really like the ASL flashback as well as the post-war arc. But I'll include them all as one thing. Next up, Impel Down. Number 8, Impel Down. Impel Down. Oh, Magellan. You know what I like about One Piece so much? What I like about One Piece so much is that you see characters, you know, that you've not seen in a long time, and then like you've seen them, that part of the arc is finished, and then later on they get introduced again. I really like that. I really like seeing characters that we've gotten introduced to before, aka Buggy, aka Mr. 3, aka Mr. 2, aka Crocodile, just being reintroduced. To me, that's a massive strength of One Piece. That all the characters, like, it's a world. It's not just the main characters. It is a world. It's a living, breathing world. And that's why I like One Piece so much. That's why my favorite manga. Because it is a world, and there's so many characters that, especially Crocodile, that I really loved being reintroduced. Awesome. Then the whole system of Impel Down, awesome. Then the fight against Magellan, beyond awesome. And then Luffy going through all the pain with Bon Clay screaming, "You can do it!" Awesome. Gambare, you can do it. And then Luffy comes out, meets Ivankov, tells her or tells him her. I don't really know. With Ivankov, it's always difficult to tell, but tells Ivankov, Dragon's son. And Monk's like, yeah, Dragon's son, yeah. So Dragon, my companion Dragon, what, you're Dragon's son? Oh, that's a classic moment of One Piece. And then obviously the whole trying to break Ace free. They don't quite catch him in time. Then they I can't lost my train of thought. Yeah, they don't catch him in time. Then they meet Jinbei, and they meet Jinbei, Crocodile, break out, and then it just all gets serious. And because then Blackbeard appears, and Luffy's like, "So you are Blackbeard, gum jet pistol," and I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that. We are all looking forward to that. I don't know what you guys like looking forward to, Akainu or Blackbeard more. Personally, I think Blackbeard is more interesting to me, but Akainu is going to be a better fight. That's the way I can. That's the way I see it. Because Blackbeard is essentially Luffy, just Luffy taken to another extreme. So Luffy that is actually thinking. If that makes sense. That's basically Blackbeard. Akainu is gonna be. I think just from like a fight standpoint, it's gonna be much more interesting because you one hit from him and you're basically done for. That's how lethal he is. Like one hit, we saw it with Whitebeard. One hit, sacking his face was off, and he was almost. And then from that point on, he was dying. So he's just more lethal character. He's just a more deadly character. So yeah. Anyway, they then try and get out without trying to fight Magellan. They get out and then they're off to Marineford. It was just such a great arc. It was just I don't know why. Maybe it's because I like playing Zelda, or maybe it's because I like playing video games in general. And there's always like a dungeon or whatever, and like you're trying to advance from like one point to the next point, then to the point after that, and so on and so forth. And it's just such an enjoyable arc. Anyway, number 7. And before we continue, let me just get a drink because I've been now speaking for 51 minutes without taking a break. That was a break. Number 7, Zoe. Yeah, Zoe. One of the most, I think it's basically the New World equivalent of Jaya. The New World equivalent of Jaya, and there's a very simple reason for that. I think most of you guys can figure that out. It was an information dump arc. Very short arc, I think like only 15 chapters, but we got introduced to Sanji's real name. We got introduced to like the poneglyphs, the road poneglyphs, Jack, the highest bounty at that point at 1 billion. We just got introduced to so many different things, and it was just beautiful. It was just beautiful. There was so much mystery. There was just that nice scene between like present time, flashback, and it just all made sense. And obviously with Sunisha taking out Jack, just like sack, Momonosuke, the Ming's Raizo is safe. Zoe was, honestly, it was just beautiful. It was beautiful. Absolutely magnificent. Absolutely breathtaking for me. I think a lot of people, especially like the manga readers back then, really enjoyed it because there was so much intrigue. There was like just straight up, there was so... I think Zoe is one of the few One Piece arcs that actually works better reading from like week to week than it is reading just at once. Usually with One Piece, it's most of the times it's always better reading the arc or watching the arc, just at once. Zoe was, I think, pretty much better reading week to week or watching week to week. That's my take on it. But I really loved Zoe. I really loved Zoe, and that's why it's number 7. But number 6 is Dressrosa, an arc that I feel had potential to potentially rival my first two, without spoiling it obviously, but it had the potential to rival 2 other arcs, the 2 best arcs in One Piece. The issue was that it was a little bit long. I'm not one of the people. I actually think it was perhaps like 2 chapters long, so not really that much. There was one chapter particular that I didn't like, and that was, I think chapter was called Guts or something. And that's where, like, the commentator, the guy was like, yeah, Luffy this and Lucci this and Lucci that. And I was like, come on. They're in the middle of the fight. In the middle of the Gear 4 fight, like Luffy and Doflamingo. And you're just talking about that. Come on now. Really? Come on now. I don't mind, like, 2 pages, 3 pages of just hyping somebody up. But when it's a whole page in the middle of a battle, that's disappointing. That is disappointing. I think it was like the second last chapter to like the chapter before the King Kong gun. That was the case. So that's perhaps the one negative. But there were too many good moments. There were just too many good moments. That's why it's number 6 for me. You obviously had Gear 4th. Then you had Senior Pink's flashback. Who would have thought that? Who would have thought that just a 1 episode flashback could be this good? Then you had obviously the Corazon flashback. Then you had the whole Ming tribe. You had the Rebecca flashback, the King Rico flashback. You had the Doflamingo flashback. Really, the Colosseum. You got introduced to like Don Chinjao, Cavendish, Bartolomeo. So many awesome characters like Idio, Sai, Hakubo, Hakuba. I think actually not Hakubo. It's Jesus Burgess, and then Sabo. He was alive. In the middle of all that, the Straw Hat Pirates, they get attacked by Big Mom. Then you have obviously Mr. Fujitora enter as well. Straw Hat Grand Fleet as well. Doflamingo being a Tenryubito. You get introduced that there is another admiral called Green Bull. Ryukujo, I think. And like I said, there was just so many good moments. I feel like a lot of people, perhaps when it was weekly, yes, but even then I didn't really feel that it was slow. Maybe it's because I enjoyed it so much. Like I said, it's number 6 on my list. I really, really enjoyed it. Maybe I didn't really feel that it was too slow. It was just like 1 or 2 chapters that I wish didn't exist. That's it, really. That's all there is to it. But yeah, like I said. For me, number 6, it has too many too many fantastic moments. Like I said, it could have potentially rivaled other arcs. For me, it was very close. But like I said, it was only 1 or 2 chapters, 1 or 2 pages. No, not pages, 1 or 2 chapters that really ruined it for me. Otherwise, it would have probably been number 3 or number 4. In all honesty, I've been 100% honest with you guys. So that's Dressrosa. Number 5, we're entering the top 5 right now. 55 minutes into this video, and we're entering the top 5. Number 5 is Return to Sabaody. Number 5, Return to Sabaody. Man, what can you say about that? What can you say about that arc? Like I said, episode 521. One of the best episodes in One Piece in of itself. Luffy one-shot in the Pacifista, Zoro Sanji coming in, one-shot in the Pacifista, and then Rayleigh, Luffy talking to Rayleigh, like, Rayleigh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna become the king of the pirates. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it. I am gonna do it. I'm gonna become the king of the pirates. It's called One Piece, and I'm the main character, Monkey D. Luffy. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna become the king of the pirates. But like the arc, for me, it was like the best time skip arc of anything I've ever seen. I'm saying that straight up. It was the best time skip arc of anything I've ever seen. Because it had the comedy, straight up, you got introduced comedy, and then, obviously it was messing around with you, like, with the character designs, are these the Straw Hats? No. Are they? Maybe not. No. We got introduced to this Straw Hat here. Ooh, nice. What, wow, he looks cool. Wow, she looks nice. She looks hot. Wow, what's going on here? And then you're slowly and surely you got introduced to more and more of the Straw Hats, more and more of the character designs, and you got to see what they actually had in store. So it was a very, very short arc. It was only 5 episodes, 6. It was only like 7 episodes or so. But it was so fun. It's like these bunch of episodes I watched and rewatched so many times, and it's just so fun to do because the arc is just so good. It is just so like I said, it is the best for me personally, the best post time skip arc. Sorry, not the best post time skip, the best arc of a post time skip happening in any medium. So the best first arc after a time skip. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's Return to Sabaody for me. Number 4 though is Sabaody. Number 4 being Sabaody. Kind of shocking, right? Kind of shocking, right? You guys, I think a lot of people either have it lower or higher. It's such a weird arc. Like, people either really, really love it or people don't like it at all. I really, really love it. I really, really love it, which is why it's at number 4. Obviously you enter, then Hachi's like, you know what, whatever you do, I'm going to lead you to the mechanic, but whatever you do, whenever you see the Tenryubito, no matter what happens, even if you see somebody get shot right in front of you, don't interfere. Don't do anything. Nothing. Stop what you're doing. Stop what you're thinking. Just don't do anything. Anyway, then as far as they keep going, Kami gets captured. Well, before Kami gets captured, they meet up with Shaki at her ripoff bar. She's like, okay, you know what? You need to be careful right now because there are 11 people. There are 11 people right now on this island. They are very, very dangerous. There are 11 people on this island that are very, very dangerous, including you. 11 supernovas. The 11 supernovas, and they've got all these 11 people got bounties hiding 100 million. These include These include Captain Kid at 315, Monkey D. Luffy at 300. Basil Hawkins at 240, Trafalgar Law at 200, Killer at 140, I think. 140. Zoro at 120, X Drake at 198, the Mad Monk Uruge at 108. Who am I missing? Capone at 150, I think. Capone at 150. The Glutton, Julie Bunny at 130. Then Apu, the Roaring Tide, at 180. And I think that that's pretty much it. I think I mentioned all 11. Straight up, you're like, oh, rivals. Finally, the one aspect that One Piece didn't really have, rivals. We've got them now. Now, whoever obviously you guys preferred, I like Law straight away. I don't know, maybe it's because he had a sword, and that's maybe why I liked him straight away. But I liked him straight away. He had a sword. I was like, you know what? He did, you know what? Captain Kidd, I was like, yeah, not really. No, not really. But Law, he was just awesome. He had a sword. I'm a massive fan of swords, and his devil fruit was just, it just confused me what was going on at first. So I was like, you know what? Bonus points for you. Anyway, the Rise then they head off to the theme park. Kami gets captured. They call him back the Flying Fish Riders. Dual, the crew, they're all looking for Kami. They head off to the auction house. Go inside. Luffy sees what's going on. Luffy's about to run to Kami, and Hachi's trying to stop him. Can't stop him with two hands. Gets out his other four arms. Stops Luffy and gets shot. Gets shot by the Tenryubito, the Celestial Dragon. Previously, Luffy obviously promised Hachi, no matter what happens, no matter even if I saw somebody getting shot in front of me, I will not act. I promise you that. Luffy is not able to keep that promise. He goes up to the Celestial Dragon. It's slow motion, like doom, 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 doom. Walks up to him like the Celestial Dragon tries to shoot him. Luffy just goes like, bam, knocks him back to the manga, and and just awesomeness from there on in the series, because straight away, you know, we get to see like the abilities of Captain Kidd. We get to see the abilities of Eustace. We get to see the abilities of Captain Kidd and Trafalgar Law. And straight away, you get to see like Kuma face off against Captain Kidd and Trafalgar Law. 5 seconds later, we see the Marines attack Captain Capone. You just see men coming out of his stomach, and it's like the whole cavalry is here. The Glutton Juro Bonnie, see what her ability is. You know, you see everyone's ability, and then you see one man arrive, and that man is Kizaru, Borsalino Kizaru. But before that happens, because that's episode 400, Kizaru arrives at episode 400. But episode 399, which is probably one of the best episodes in One Piece as well, is when Rayleigh talks about everything. He talks about the story, he talks about Roger, he talks about, you know what, we weren't captured. Roger gave himself up, and then Robin's like, what about the Void Sentry? You know, do you know what the Void Sentry is about? And Rayleigh's like, you know what, I do. I do. But you should head on your own journey. You know, but if you want to know about it, I will tell you. But perhaps we, as well as O'Hara, were too eager to do things. But anyway, as you are right now, you cannot do anything about it. And Robin is like, you know what? I've got friends. I believe in them. I believe that we're going to be successful. I believe that our journey will be successful. I believe that we're going to be the Pirate King. That he's going to be the Pirate King, and we're going to be the crew that is going to have the Pirate King. So you know what? I don't need to know. I believe in my captain. I believe in, you know, his ability as well as the crew's ability. All right. They keep going. Rayleigh keeps talking, And Usopp's like, you know what, Robin, are you sure you don't want to know more? Because here, let me ask you something. Really, I want the great treasure One Piece. Is it true that is Usopp, stop? And no, I don't want you to say anything. I don't want you to ask him anything. I don't want to know anything about One Piece. Because otherwise the story would end right now. Otherwise the story would end right now, because I wouldn't want to become the Pirate King, and that would be the end for me. Because I don't want to have a journey, I don't want to have an adventure that is boring. Luffy says that, Usopp shuts up. Alright, they head off all in their separate ways. They promise to each other in 3 days. Kizaru comes in, Pacifistas comes in, Kuma comes in. The Straws have no chance. Kizaru is about to take Kizaru is about to take out Zoro. Rayleigh comes in, stops him. The Pacifistas, as well as Sentomaru. The Pacifistas and Sentomaru, they just absolutely destroy the Straw Hats, and then Kuma comes in. Kuma's like, you know what, Pacifista, out of my way. You meet Zoro, if you were to travel somewhere, where would you go? Swipes him away. Next up, Brook swipes him away. Next up, Usopp swipes him away. Next up, Robin Next up, Sanji swipes him away. Then Frankie swipes him away. Nami swipes him away. Chopper swipes him away. Robin begging Luffy, please save me. Swipes him away. Luffy's on the ground crying. What is wrong with me? We will never meet each other again. Swipes him away. On that day, the Straw Pirates were completely and utterly defeated. Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen that in One Piece? The Straw Pirates being completely and utterly defeated. No, not in this manner. Not in this manner. That was Sabaody. That was number 4. But number 3, and I think the top 3, I think most people agree with the top 3 usually. I think many people have a similar list. Number 3 is Water 7. Water 7, aesthetically looking at it, it is my most favourite arc. I like the way it looks. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of water. Water is my favourite element. So seeing a city made of water instantly, it gets brownie points for me, But Water 7, like there was just so much mystery right from the get-go. First of all, you have the whole thing with Aokiji still in the back of your mind. You're like, okay, you know what does it mean? And then Water 7, you get introduced, obviously the first arc really that is in HD, that crisp HD as well. But we're gonna try and repair our ships, whatnot. Head off to like a shipyard. Meanwhile, Chopper and Robin, they head into a bookstore, and Chopper heads into the bookstore. Robin, before heading into the bookstore, she like goes down. Once about to head into the bookstore, someone walks past her. CP9. What? What? That's the first time watching this. I'm like, what? Anyway, she then disappears. You're like, what just happened? Well, what just happened? But then we switch back to Luffy, Usopp, and Nami, and then they're exchanging their money and whatnot, and then they're heading off to the shipyard, and they're like, you know what? We're talking to you, Kaku, and Kaku goes and checks out their ship. He comes back with the bad news, saying, you know what? This ship can't be repaired. All while that was happening, Usopp got kidnapped. He got beaten up. The money got stolen. 200 million got stolen from his suitcase, and he feels guilty. He storms into Frankie's hideout from the Frankie family who stole his money. He storms in there. Before storming in there, he was crying. He was saying, I can't face the guys and whatnot here and there. And then he storms in there, already a broken man, already a beaten man. He storms in there, tries to fight everyone, tries to get the money back. Gets absolutely humiliated. He gets absolutely beaten, starts crying, gets beaten to the point where he's unconscious. He's outside the Frankie family's house. Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and Chopper, they see him in the state that he's in. They're like, you know what? No, we're going to take revenge right now. They walk to the Frankie house, destroy the Frankie house, destroy the Frankie family, and then Luffy makes a decision. You know what? It's time we say goodbye to the Merry. We're gonna part ways on this island with the Merit. We're gonna go and get a new ship with the 100 million that we've got left. Luffy decides that while Usopp is unconscious. He wakes up, and they have that argument. They have the argument of arguments, saying, the Mary is part of our crew. She's part of our Nakama. So what? You're just gonna abandon your Nakama whenever they're not of use to you anymore? And Luffy's like, no, that's not the case. Even if we wanted to continue with her, we can't. It's physically impossible. She can't get to the next island. And there's a difference between humans and ships. And Usopp, he's not having it. He's not having it. Obviously, partly he feels guilty, obviously, that he lost the money and whatnot. But then Luffy says a stupid line. After, like I said, after arguments and arguments, Usopp says something along the lines of, well, if you're gonna discard useless Nakama, if you're gonna discard the ship on this island, then you're best off discarding me as well, because for a while I've been thinking that I can't keep up with you guys, and compared to you guys, I'm useless fighting wise. And Luffy's like, well, if you don't like my opinion so much, if you don't like what I'm saying so much, then why don't you get off this and Sanji hits him. Usopp is like, you know what? Yeah, you just said what you wanted to say. You just said what you thought you should say, and I 100% agree with you. I'm gonna get off the ship. I'm gonna leave the crew. This is the end for me in this crew. He leaves the ship, but before he heads off, he says, Luffy, I will challenge you today at 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. It hits 12 o'clock. Both of them square off. Both of them, Usopp essentially fighting for the ship. He wants to beat Luffy so that he can get the ship. Luffy, he's just fighting against Usopp because, well, Usopp, he challenged him for the ship, so obviously he's going to agree to that. And, a fight ensues, but Luffy wins. But Luffy, he already, with the ideal mind to, discarding the ship, he tells Usopp, what, you can have the ship. This is where we part ways. This is where we part ways from the Mary as well as you. Goodbye. And all while that was happening, Robin was still nowhere to be seen. And she tried to assassinate, quote unquote, Iceberg. He obviously lives to tell the tale. Now the whole Straw Hats are wanted. They head into the place. They head into Iceberg's mansion. What do they find in there? They find all this, the craftsman, the foreman of the craftsman, being taken out. Iceberg, who kind of feared that his life was at an end, he goes up to Paulie, tells him, you know what, Paulie, go to this place, and if people are following you, if people are attacking you, give them the blueprints. Just give them the blueprints and run away. And Paulie doesn't do that. He's like, I'm going to try and take you on. The people take him out easily. He then gets pinned down. Luffy comes into the building. Luffy gets pinned down. And then then this mysterious group of guys head into Iceberg's house. They interrogate him and they tell him that, you know what, you must have already given the blueprints away to someone else, because otherwise, these are fake blueprints. You must have given them away to Cutty Flam. Iceberg, having such a hectic night, he can't control his blood pressure. They know straight away that, that is everything that they've said is the truth. Meanwhile, Luffy and Paulie, they get out of the binds that they're in. They head to that place. Zoro, Sanji, Chopper head to the same place. They all enter the same place at once. They see what's in front of them. CP9 is Kaku, Lucci, Luna from the bar, and Khalifa, the secretary. Paulie, obviously being friends with all of them and knowing all of them, he is shocked. He is out of his mind. He's like, whoa, what is going on? What is happening here? What is this? What's going on? And, well, what happens is the Straw Hats get absolutely destroyed. They see Robin. Robin leaves them. Robin tells them, no, we're not going to see each other again. Then Lucci single-handedly destroys Luffy and Zoro easily. A beatdown. An absolute beatdown. Anyway, they all head off to Frankie, who is with Usopp, and Usopp is starting to, slowly accept that the ship is no more. But CP9 arrive. CP9 kidnap Frankie as well as Usopp, and Sanji chases them. Nami learns out why Robin did what she had to do, or why Robin did what she did, which was essentially that she gave up her life in order to save the crew. And she goes on and looks for Luffy. Chopper goes on and looks for Zoro, and she had like that means one of the most awesome moments in just One Piece in general. Where she stands on like this building, talking to Luffy, screaming to Luffy, shouting to Luffy, crying to Luffy. Robin is going to sacrifice herself for us, and Luffy's like, so she didn't betray us after all. Push the 2 billions aside, and then they head off to Enies lobby. But that's Water 7, number 3 on my arc. I mean, there's not much really you can say besides what I've just said. Like I said, it was just perfection. It was that's what it is. Water 7 is perfection. It is perfection. It's just there was mystery, there was intrigue, the shock when you first found out who CP9 are, like CP9 just seeing how they manhandle Luffy and Zoro. The whole arc was just brilliant. It was just brilliant. But it wasn't as good as the next arc. It wasn't as good as the next arc, and the next arc is a Marineford. Yeah, Marineford is number 2. It's not number 1 for me. Wow. Marineford. What can you say about an arc that has been built up ever since the end of Thriller Bark? At the end of Thriller Bark, you find out that Ace has been captured. Alright. You find out that there is going to be a summons, that the warlords have been summoned. Sabaody Park, you find out there's going to be war. Ace's execution date has been set. There's going to be war. Whitebeard is not going to sit back and just let it happen. Then you get to Hancock's Island, Amazon Lily, which I've not got on a list. It's number 21. But then you get to Hancock's Island, Amazon Lily, and you find out more. You find out that Ace is an Impel Down. Luffy's going there. Then Impel Down. Luffy tries his best to get to Ace. Doesn't get to Ace. Marineford. Everyone is there. The world's superpowers. You see what the top of the world is, and you see how strong you have to be the best, to have to be the Pirate King, to be the best swordsman. You see where you have to be at. And just accumulation of everything, like just the whole build-up as well as the arc in general. There are so many great moments. Two of the most iconic moments in One Piece: Ace's death, Whitebeard's death, and then obviously Shanks appearing as well. 3 of the most iconic moments. I think 2 of them are guaranteed. The third one perhaps not so much, but there's so many iconic moments, and it's just such an iconic arc. It is one of these arcs that I think most people rewatch time and time again because it's so much fun. It gives you so much intel on just like how strong like top of the top are, like top of the bunch, marine wise as well as pirate wise, and it's just overall a great arc. It's just overall a very great arc, very enjoyable arc, a great arc, and it shows you that this world of One Piece, we're just starting. We're 500 episodes in, but we're just starting, and that's Marineford. Number 1, Enies Lobby. I have Enies Lobby higher than Marineford, and this is probably there's a few reasons. Now, Marineford, it had its very sad moments. Don't get me wrong, it has very sad moments, but most of the time it was just epicness. That's what Marineford was. Enies Lobby, it was epicness, but it had so many awesome moments. It had so many sad moments. I Want to Live, one of the most iconic moments in One Piece. Luffy vs. Lucci, one of the best fights in One Piece, if not the best fight in One Piece. The whole Mary being burned, one of the saddest moments in One Piece. One of the best moments in One Piece too. There's so much to this arc. You have New Forms, Gear 2nd, Gear 3rd, Ashura, Ichiban. Then you have obviously Sanji, Diablo Jambler, Soga King, Nami, obviously with a new improved climate act. You have Chopper, Monster Point. Then you have obviously Spandam with the Dendenmushi, the golden Dendenmushi invoking the Buster Call, Robin's flashback, the Poneglyphs. You find out more about the history of One Piece, the Void Sentry, the Gorosei, everything. The world government, Luffy declaring war on the world government, and it's just accumulation of just everything that is One Piece. Everything that is One Piece just put into one. You have epicness, you have awesome scenes, you have power-ups, you have transformations, you have the whole thing, and at the end of the day, you also have the sad scenes. So you have, like I said, you have everything. It's just the best arc in One Piece in my opinion. It is the arc that actually made me start watching subs very early on in the arc. It started making me watch subs. And I then went over to the manga by halfway through the end of the arc. Now that's basically when I was caught up with One Piece. When let me rephrase that. The arc, I think it was actually Water 7 that made me start watching subs, and then by the end of like the subs, I was still on Enies Lobby. So basically, that's basically the moment I was caught up with One Piece back when they were still in Enies Lobby. I pretty much actually remember exactly the chapter that it was. That is the first started reading in the manga, which was a chapter that Chopper transformed into Monster Point. That was the very first time I actually read manga, and that was the very first time I actually read. That's the very first. That's when I was caught up with the dub. Sorry, with the obviously it's the Japanese dub, and yeah. That's basically how I got into like reading Japanese dub as well as reading, or should I say English subtitles, and reading manga. That was the moment. Ever since then, I've been caught up with One Piece, waiting every single week. Back in the good old power manga and whatnot days, not power manga, one manga. But back in the one manga days, and obviously since then we've got like Manga Panda, then we've got Kiss Manga, Manga Stream, and now Dramini's Box. So I've been around here for quite a while now. Yeah, one of the best moments was when I read like the Zoro moment from Thriller Bark in like manga form, and I could not wait for like the anime to get to that. I just could not wait for that. I remember like waiting like every single week, like, oh, how long, how much further, how many more chapters until that. And it was just, like I said, One Piece for me, not because of the community, but because of the history as well. There's so much to the show. There's so many great arcs. Like I said, there are 20 arcs, and I missed a few. I realized that while I was doing this, I missed a few. I missed Amazon Lily, which, to be fair, wouldn't have been on my 20 list anyway. Maybe it would have been number 20 perhaps, along with Fishman Island, Garrity, and Long Island. But like I said, there are so many good moments, so many iconic moments in One Piece. But for me, the arc that tops it all off is Enies Lobby. It's Enies Lobby. That is my favorite One Piece arc. Marineford being a very, 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 very close second. I think Enies Lobby is just like the fact that there is more, I wouldn't say iconic moments, but more sad moments. More moments where I was like on my edge of my seat. Marineford, you know, a lot of times there were edge of my seat moments, especially like Luffy against the Three Admirals, Ace dying, you know, Luffy then using the Conqueror's Haki. But I don't know, maybe it's just because there was Straw Hats at Enies Lobby and Marineford there weren't Straw Hats, so maybe that's why. But I don't know. I don't know. I just like Enies Lobby more than Marineford, but I love for both of them. Both of them are two of my favorite arcs of all time. If I had like a top 5 of just arcs in general, both these would definitely feature. Enies Lobby being number 1, just period. But yeah, that's my hour and 20-minute video about the arcs in One Piece, ranking them from worst to best, or best to worst, with Enies Lobby being number 1, and like the first 3 arcs or so being number 21, if you want to call them all in the same spot. But that's all there is though from me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very, very intrigued. Obviously, I don't expect you to write like your full list in the comment section. If you do, fantastic. I'm definitely gonna read that. But if you don't, you know, if you just want to write your top 5, I'll be very, very intrigued to see actually what your guys' top 5 is, what everyone's top 5 is, because like I said, this is One Piece, and like some people, they will like one thing more than other. Some people like, you know, the fields more than the fights. Other people like the fights more than the fields. Other people, they just like, you know, certain villains. There's like certain characters. There's like certain story points. There's like certain plot points, and that's the thing about One Piece. Like you know, even though the fan page, you know, you may like One Piece, and I might like One Piece, and this guy might like One Piece, and this guy likes One Piece. We all have like different favorites, and that's ultimately all it comes down to. You know, all comes down to the characters as well as just like the villains, the plot points, you know, just iconic moments. You know, all of that just accumulates, and it just makes the story that is One Piece. It's an adventure, not just a straightforward. It's not just a straightforward plot. It's an adventure. That's all there is to today. But I will see you guys next time, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out, everyone, and have a nice day.